You saw my request?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Awesome.
sorry. I think my dad's on this call too.
Oh, cool.
I think he accidentally requested to me my video, so I got
Wow.
confused.
Hello.
Hi. Okay. Great. I think this is the first time we're doing like a weekday night. Nice earrings. Thank you. You know why? Because we're celebrating the end of, well, I wouldn't say like the start of phase 2, which is tomorrow. So I'm really, really excited. Stefan, are you excited?
Yes. Yeah. Finally, it's here, right? After all this wait.
Yeah. I mean, the excitement from the extrovert is, I'm sure you can feel it. So I think that's kind of what inspired the topic for tonight because when we talked about it, we both, I think not just us, but everyone has gotten new habits this circuit breaker, like cultivated habits, whether knowingly or unknowingly. I definitely have. And, like strengthen old habits as well. So tonight, we're going to talk about habits. Actually, it's something that I really am very excited to talk about because it's something that I believe very strongly in. And of course, if you are new to our podcast, I'm with Stefan, the founder of the School of Positive Psychology, and he's going to give us a bit more of a psychological perspective. Okay, let's get into it. Tonight, a lot of it is based on a book that I read many years ago, and that's The Power of Habit by Charles Doug. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. And Stefan has read the book as well. So we're going to talk about it in case you're not a reader. Just going to summarize it real quick for you. I think the number one point to remember is that we're all trigger people and creatures of habit. Would you say that, Stefan?
Yeah. We are all emotional creatures and we are definitely creatures of habit, and up to 45% of our daily activities are all habit and we don't think about it. We just do it so automatically. And these are our routine, right?
Yeah.
And these include both unhealthy and healthy habits.
Okay. So I definitely agree with that. And I think for me, reading the book, I felt like the reason why I think that habits are so important is because we are our whole life is kind of made up of habits if you think about it. Like every day, what we do, we brush our teeth. I hope you brush your teeth. We eat our breakfast, or we go out for a run, or we go work out. Some people want to work out, they don't, but basically our whole life is made out of habits. And some points that I learned from the book is that, like you said, we are 45% made up of habits. And that's because scientists say the brain is constantly looking for ways to save effort, right? So with habits, it's kind of like it's just there. It's like a set pattern, and it saves brain space. Like you don't think about like going to brush your teeth in the morning, you just do, right? So it's the brain's way of saving effort. And I think a huge topic in the book is the habit loop. Right. So every habit basically follows a loop where there's a cue, there's a routine, and then there's a reward. And then if you keep doing this, that's when it kind of becomes a habit. So habits are, would you say it's our default thinking then, generally?
Yes, habit is actually one of our default thinking because, like you said earlier, it becomes so routine and automatic, we don't even think about it. So when we talk about what you said about the habit loop, first we have the trigger, which is the cue. The cue is more like it could be from the environment, it could be a sound you pick up, it could be a word that you see or a picture. And once we have the trigger, we will set off into an automatic behavior, reaching out to the reward, right? And when we do it again and again, it becomes so default. And default thinking is definitely also a way of habitual thinking. Yeah.
So I think one huge point from the book, because when I read that, I was like, oh no, what if I have like really bad habits? I think the one point that I took away is habits are not our destiny. So a line from the book is habits can be ignored, changed, or replaced. But the reason that the discovery of this habit loop is so important is that when a habit emerges, the brain actually stops fully participating in making decisions. It
Yeah.
literally just follows this loop, like, mindlessly. And so unless you fight the habit, if it's a bad or a good one, the habit and the pattern will just keep unfolding naturally.
Yeah, there's a lot about habits is like having associations, right?
Yeah.
Association is more than two things come together. I mean, a great example is I used to have this bad habit when I'm hungry at night, and then I'll be okay, I want to eat something, right? And the first thing that popped into my mind may be McDonald's. I mean, of course, it's too much of McDonald's is not healthy.
Yeah.
So just like this is an association that I've built over time.
So
So,
every time you're hungry at night, the association is to eat McDonald's.
yeah, one of the associations. McDonald's would be very happy to hear this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like what we're saying, because it really is a pattern of behavior. So it's because of this, it's very hard to create habits, and it's quite hard to unlearn habits. So today we're going to talk about how we can do some of that, because it's we always want to, I think, like, okay, let's talk a bit about what habits do we start or do during lockdown that we think are good or bad. Like, let's just share. And please, if you're watching us, please, you can comment and let us know, like, what are some of the things that you did. Stefan, what do you form any new habits this period?
Well, I was about to ask you, but since you asked me first, is one new habit I pick up is taking cold shower. Right? Yes, it's really cool.
Why? I know I heard it's good for you, but
Well, because I think I was inspired by the podcast that I do. I interview guests every week, right? And then there's this guy, he's been telling me that he goes out to swim every day in the big sea in UK, in cold sea, cold water. And then I was like, okay, I told him that, I wish to adopt this habit. And then after speaking to him, I said to myself that I could acquire this new habit. Why? It's because that taking cold shower to me, it wakes you up, it boosts your immune system. And then I don't feel lethargy, Like versus a warm shower, after that you feel quite comfortable, a bit snuggly. I don't mind going back to sleep
wait,
sometimes.
so you actually take a cold shower even like at night?
Oh no, when I wake up in the morning, not
Okay.
at night. Yeah.
But okay, yeah. But even that sounds very painful. And is this something that you want to carry on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I definitely did not cultivate that habit.
What about you?
I mean, it's already been a habit since from before. But I guess one thing that I really do is I work out every day. I've always kind of worked out every day, mostly. But now in the lockdown, I work out every day at a set time, right? And I kind of like that. Like, I work out with a group of girls. So we work out at like 8 or 8:30 every day, roughly, that sort of timing. And it's kind of nice. I actually look forward to it. Some days, okay, when I wake up, I'm like, not really feeling it. But I know that my friends are there, and I don't want to, I feel like it's kind of letting people down if you don't show up as well. So I try to be there. And after a workout, you always feel better. At least I do. So I feel like this is a good habit that I want to continue. I've always worked out, but it's always when I feel like it. But I like that it's kind of a bit more structured now. Do you pick up any bad habits this lockdown?
Let me think. I okay, maybe I could say this is that I tend to overeat sometimes. This is what I think, because I get really hungry, I order a lot. And then, when you are hungry, you tend to order a lot. This is like another phenomenon on its own. Then when the food comes, I'll just eat everything and eat fast.
Even though you're not hungry.
Even
though you're full, by a certain point you're full, you mean?
Yeah, I still feel hungry after I eat, but I know that physically I'm really full, but I just carry on eating it. Yeah, so this is one of the bad habits that I become more aware of. So I try to break it down into bits.
Okay, well, for me, I think one bad habit that I picked up in like this whole period of lockdown is to start snacking. I've never really been a big snacker, honestly, but this period, like, people will send me snacks, and yeah, I don't know. I find myself like in the afternoon about 4, 5-ish, I get very hungry. I don't know if it's hungry or just munchy, and then I will just like feel like I need to eat something. So I'm not sure that's a great habit. I don't think I'm actually hungry.
What sort of snacks? Like, is it healthy snacks or unhealthy snacks?
I don't know what healthy snacks are. They are not in my house.
Okay.
So they're definitely unhealthy snacks. They're like chips, and I guess on the healthier end, it would be like a cream bun. I don't think that's healthy as well. Cheese. I think that's very healthy. Yeah, so it's not stuff that's really very healthy. So that's something that I kind of don't want to carry on after, we go into phase 2, which is tomorrow. So,
Yep.
I think how to create a habit and to make it stick is a question that
Mm.
I get a lot from friends. Like I told you, I work out regularly this lockdown every day, almost every day at 8 o'clock or 8:30. But previously, I've always worked out at least 5 times a week. And it's never been a problem. Like I've never thought of it as like, oh, something like a chore that I have to do. I guess I really enjoy it. But I always have friends asking me like, how do you do it? Like the two things that friends always ask me how I do is how do you make yourself work out every day and how do you make yourself wake up early in the morning? So that is I guess like I'm just a morning person, so I do like to wake up early. I always joke like I said, set alarm lah. If you set an alarm, you'll wake up, right? But I think it's more than just an alarm. It is a habit.
Yeah.
Because you can set alarm and you can snooze it and you can go back to sleep and you can like not wake up until I don't know what time, right?
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah, but
No, because you talk about alarm, it reminds me of this running alarm.
uh-huh.
There's this alarm, right, that it will run. So you can put next to your bed. Once it rings, it will run off by its own. Then you have to wake up to chase
Oh,
it.
yeah, I thought that was such a silly idea when I read about this. I read about this too. So I was like, why would you do that? And then when I told some friends, they're like, because they are guilty of like snoozing the alarm. Like, hands up, guys, if you guys are guilty of snoozing the alarm like a million times. I do snooze it once or twice, and then I stop because I find it so annoying. Yeah. And I've actually stayed with people where like on holiday and stuff, and they have like a million snooze alarms, and it drives me nuts. It's one of those things that really drives me nuts. So, I think that an alarm that runs away, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So, going back to the book a little bit and going back to the
Okay.
psychological part of it, right? So, I'll talk a bit about the book, and maybe Stephanie can give some psychological input. So, what
Okay.
I in the book, what I read was they were trying to find create a market for Febreze. If you know what Febreze is like a spray that gets rid of bad smells, right? So it gets rid of bad smells, and it serves as a bit of a deodorant for the room, like a deodorizer, but its main um, purpose is actually to get rid of bad smells. So long story short, they tried very hard to market this product to no avail until finally they realized that they were marketing it as a product that got rid of bad smells, which was wrong because they realized people preferred to use it like as a mini celebration. So they would clean their house and then they would spray a bit of Febreze. And that was like a habit to use Febreze at the end of it, like a mini celebration when you're done with the room, right? So Febreze was positioned as the reward. I think this was a great example because, for example, I think the other thing that was brought up is if you want to create an exercise habit. Okay, like for me, I actually really enjoy. I'm just sporty in general, but if you don't really enjoy sports, but you feel like you need to go out and run every morning. So one way you can help yourself is to position, put a cue in place. So the routine is like the running, but put a cue. Like maybe put your running shoes just by your bed. So the minute you step off your bed, you're like, oh my gosh, the running shoes are there. So that's the cue to I should go and run now. Right. And then you go and run and then make yourself have a little reward at the end of it. Okay, I would say it's counterproductive to make it ice cream, because yeah, but if you can find a reward, like to me, sports brings its own reward, which is you feel like the rush of endorphins and you feel happy after a run. But if you don't really enjoy that, find your own reward, like maybe a tall glass of really ice cold water or a hot shower. All these could be seen as rewards for a good run and a good workout session. So if you do it long enough, if you've been listening to us, if you have the cue and then you have the routine, which is running, and you have the reward, if you do this every day, sooner or later you would cultivate a habit. Just hold on now. Just leave it outside, please. Thank you. Someone at my door. Always the timing must be like that. Yeah, I think they can hear me talking and they're like, what the hell is wrong with this person? Why is she not answering the door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you talk about this, Jade, like when you wake up in the morning and then you see a pair of your gym shoes next to you, this is also one of the positive psychology concepts of nudging, right?
Okay.
So you talk about nudging, it's just like, imagine you put your shoulder or your elbow to nudge another person. Yeah, so it said that we are all choice architects. We can design our choice to make better decisions. Yeah, so the small little things like this will help us increase our habit patterns too. So this is exactly right what you said.
So it's kind of like nudging yourself to making the right choices.
Yeah,
right?
and it's easier also.
Yeah, I think before this, before we went live, we were talking about IKEA. Who here shops at IKEA? Like, I mean, now we can't shop at IKEA, but remember just before the lockdown, it was like super packed because everyone was buying stuff from IKEA. So anyway, it's no secret that Singaporeans love IKEA, right? Because it's always crowded. And the interesting thing is IKEA actually makes a lot of money from the food, not just the furniture. And in particular, like, I think the reason why they put soft serve ice cream right outside, there's a reason for that, right? And this is because they're creating that sort of habit. So to make a habit, you need a cue, a routine, and a reward. Like I said, if you're going running, then the cue is you put your running shoes on the ground. The routine is you go running, and the reward is after you finish your run, you reward yourself with an ice cold glass of water, for example, right? So what that kind of creates a habit, but what really makes a habit stick, according to the research in the book, is craving. So you have to create that craving. So let me give you the example, the IKEA ice cream example, right? After you're done shopping, okay, I personally don't really like going to IKEA. Sometimes I'm dragged there to get stuff, or I just need to get stuff. But at the end of a shopping trip, there's ice cream there, and it's quite inexpensive. If I remember correctly, it's like $1 or $2. So it's at a price that is pretty attractive. And it's pretty yummy for that price, especially, right? So when I end the trip on a sweet note like that, you begin to associate IKEA with ice cream. Some people associate it with hot dogs because the hot dogs are yummy too, and they're also very inexpensive. Some people like the meatballs. So IKEA is very clever. Like they've made it such that IKEA is a place to get your furniture and get like some of the mundane things that you need to get done. But if you're there, you can reward yourself with an ice cream, a hot dog, or like meatballs. And so you kind of end your chore, your shopping chore, your trip on a sweet note or on a happy note. And so every time you think IKEA, you will have this craving for, like, for example, if you're an ice cream person, you'll be like, I feel like eating the ice cream. Right. So I think that is when you create the craving is what makes your habit stick.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if I could just share a quick way of how to a plan like we use in psychology to create a habit, right? It's a three steps. Yeah. And the first step would be take a piece of paper, write down a specific positive action that you want to build, right? And after you do so, ask yourself the question, why do you want to do it? So for example, like I mentioned earlier, that I like to build a habit of taking cold shower.
Yeah.
So I write down cold shower in the morning. And then why do I do it? Because I know that if I do it, I'll be much more energized. It's good for my health. And there are many good rewards. I feel rejuvenated, right? And then the second step is close your eyes and imagine and visualize you going through the experience. So I'll visualize getting out of the bed, brush my teeth, go jump into the shower. And then I will pay attention to the feelings that I will feel. Oh my God, it's going to be cold shower soon. And then after the cold shower, I feel like jot up, and then afterwards I'll start to feel the surge of energy. And by doing so, we are preparing our mind to prepare ourselves to go through the real event.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have created neural pathway in our mind for it to do so. And then
so you should actually visualize doing it, even though, like, for example, cold showers is not exactly a very pleasant experience. You're saying you should visualize it first.
Visualize it first.
Okay.
Yeah. And also visualize the feelings that you will feel before and after.
Ah, okay. I think, yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. Yeah,
No,
it will really crystallize.
It will, yeah, sorry. That's kind of similar to what my understanding of it as well. Except maybe not so much the visualization, although I think I'll try that, but the focusing on the reward. So I think people maybe focus too much attention. Like I think like after, okay, for example, I'm bringing back to the workout example. People focus on the like, okay, so after that, what do I get? Like maybe you reward yourself with an ice cream, which is counterproductive kind of if you're trying to lose weight by running, right? But I think that for me, I've cultivated the workout habit just because the post-workout high that I feel is so happy that I crave it, right? Because I crave it is something that I do all the time. And that's the way to make a habit stick, right? So I think for you, yeah, the actual cold shower, I can't imagine that's fun, right? But then at the end of it, you feel so energized and so refreshed and so ready for the day, I can imagine. And so that's what you focus on. Yeah. Right? And then if you keep focusing on that, then you kind of crave it. So even in the morning when you feel like, oh, cold shower, but then you you're like, wow, but I feel so energized after that. So you will still make yourself do it.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that's a reward, as you said.
Yeah. So I think for anyone who's looking to build a habit, right, really try to position a reward at the end of it. I think a lot of people would say, any reward would do, but I find that if you can find it within yourself, that sounds very like woo-woo, but it's true. Like if you can find it like from a post-workout feeling of happiness rather than an ice cream, it will stick for even longer than anything else, right? And like for Stefan, for his cold showers, that feeling of feeling so wow, so energized and ready for the day. I think that sort of feeling is internal, and nothing
Yeah.
else can sort of beat that sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Might make me want to try.
And there's also a third step to this, right? And after you visualize and do it, the third step would be invite yourself to do it for 3 days
Okay.
first. And then after you achieve the 3 days, it'll be easier to continue to do the fourth day.
Why is there a 3-day like a magic number?
Because it's about building, you are using the law of repetition. Once you repeat again and again and again, you are building that circuit in your brain, so you want to do it. By the time you've done it for 3 days, the fourth day, you feel that something is amiss. You want to do it.
So you will actually crave that feeling, even though, like, for example, you may not want to take a cold shower because it's not fun, but you will actually, by the fourth day, you've created that sort of habit loop, then you will crave that feeling. So you would actually drag yourself to take a hot shower, take a cold shower.
Yeah. So the magic number is 3, 7, and 21.
Okay, so 3 days, just stick with it for 3 days. And what's the 7-day thing?
The 7 days is more like continuation, right? Having the pathway to build it. And the 7 days is more like a checkpoint for you to achieve.
Okay.
And by the time we reach 21 days, we have already acquired the habit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it takes like 21 days to rewire our brain. So this is a great indicator. Time it for 21 days.
Okay, so if you want to build a habit, just stick with it for 3 days and then check in after a week. And then by 21 days, you would have made your great habit.
Yeah, I just want to say that at any point of time, if a person fall off, let's say they miss it one day, they do not start from day one again. They can continue to count minus that day, but continue on the consecutive day onwards. It's fine.
That's a very good point. I think, especially for friends who tell me they're trying to lose weight, sometimes they fall off the wagon. Like maybe we go out and then they decide to order like a huge dessert. And then they're like, I never mind lah. Since I ate, I will just go ahead and eat some more and then like forget the diet. Right? So what you're saying is don't, even if you kind of make a mistake, right? You just catch up the next day and you don't have to start from day one.
Yeah. And when you talk about dieting, it reminds me about like breaking bad habits, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we've talked about how to create good habits and how to make good habits stick. But let's talk about breaking bad habits. I think that's something like I want to break this habit of snacking at 4 or 5 in the afternoon every day now.
There's one particular technique in psychotherapy we use. It's called sequencing. So if let's say a person have snacking issues or drinking issues or eating, let's say chocolate addiction or whichever, let's say the snack is in the fridge. And that is a reward. Instead of putting the snack there, put an apple instead, or put a fruit instead. So when they open the fridge, instead of taking out the snack, they can choose to take the apple.
Okay. So make it easier for yourself to make the correct decision, right?
Yeah, it's easier to have another cue so that they can always exercise that choice. Okay. And the second part of breaking habit would be out of sight, out of mind, right? If a person wants to smoke, wants to drink, wants to eat unhealthy stuff, put them out and hide them. So they're out, you don't see them, you don't think about it. That's a great way.
It's true. And this goes back to what we were talking about. Like there is no cue. Because if you see the bag of chips, right, there's your huge cue right there. I gotta eat it. But if it's not even there, then you're helping yourself by not giving yourself that cue to go for and eat that. I think what I read, one point in the book I just like to share is a point that was made was you can't actually extinguish a bad habit. You can only change it, right? And I think this is pretty true. For anyone who's tried to say quit smoking or drinking, I'm sure you all know this is true. Because what you can do is to create new routines when you encounter the same cues, but it's very hard. Like for example, if you are a smoker, there's a reason why you were a smoker, right? You just like the smell, the taste, everything about it. So now that you've decided to quit, it's not so easy. You're laughing, Stefan. Are you guilty as charged?
Yeah, I was smoking for many years and I finally quit it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been 4 years.
So how do you consciously try, how do you consciously try to quit smoking?
Well, I tried many different methods. I just want to say that for those people who want to quit smoking or whichever, having a strong mind power will not help it. So it's aligned to, we need to acquire a new habit. So what I did was I wanted to build small habits that will help me to quit smoking. So I gave myself a rule of two, which is also known as like I delay the gratification. Every time I had an urge to smoke, I'll tell myself that I need to delay it twice, right?
Delay it twice. So what would a delay look like?
So if let's say I had an urge to smoke, then I will tell myself I'll take a deep breath and delay it one time. And then the second time again,
Okay.
when it happened, then I will delay it the second time. And if the third time, after the second delay, the third time I still want to smoke, I'll go ahead and do it. Why?
Okay.
Yeah. So what I was doing is that I was cultivating and developing micro skills, which is a small habit, in and creating a space between my head away from my habit or addiction. And after a while, I realized that this small habit made me stop smoking when I wanted to.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty cool. I think that's something that people who are addicted to online shopping. I have a friend who used to honestly spend so much money online, and I asked her like how she sort of stopped. So she said every time, it's quite similar to your whatever you just said about delaying it twice. So she said she would delay it, like usually, like, because online is very easy, right? You click and then you like check out. So she would click and put it in the bag, but then she wouldn't check out. She would tell herself she would delay it till the next day. And usually by the time she hit the next day, she didn't feel like she needed the stuff anymore. So if some of you, you want to break a bad habit of like shopping too much, you can try that. Or if you want to quit smoking, you can try what Stefan suggested. I think it's pretty good. And I think this applies to a lot of things. Like if you want to eat less, every time you reach for something unhealthy, then you ask yourself like, okay, let me delay it by, maybe delay by like 10 minutes. And 10 minutes later, delay it one more time. And then if you really still feel like you need it, then okay, let yourself have a small snack. But I think that's a really good, actionable way to try to break a bad habit.
Yeah, well said. For those people who goes to buffet
Yeah.
after phase two is open, I think that we go, and those who want to go to have dieting plans, and
Yeah.
you still go for a buffet because of their friends or whichever, take a smaller plate.
Take a smaller plate.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so they win, like one of the person said, having a small win. So you design the choice that will make you to lead to good make a small decision that will make you to have better decisions later on. So having a small plate means you take smaller portion. So
Yeah.
naturally you help a lot.
I see. Okay, so
Yeah.
so we've talked about a few things. We talked about why habits are very important. We've shared what we've picked up in this period of lockdown, and we've talked about how to create a habit and make it stick, and also how to break bad habits. Maybe we can end off. Thank you everyone also for all your comments, and hi to my friends. I see quite a lot of my friends on this call. I think, oh, Peter, hi. He says, write down your goal and paste it all over the room to remind you of it. Yeah, this is actually a really, really good tip, because writing down the goal is serving as a cue. The cue is
Yep.
to remind you to stay on track, right? So I think we need little reminders. So that works quite well for certain people. So let's end off maybe with a nice habit that, Stefan, you think everyone could try taking up.
Well, one thing that came out to me during this lockdown period is I see a lot of pro-social spending, that people are sending gifts to their friends, encouragement to help each other boost their morale. I think that this is a great positive psychology intervention that we can continue to build, because not only that we are creatures of habits, we are also social creatures. We need each other to thrive. Yeah, so I strongly urge that let's continue to do this, because when you do that to another person, you feel good too, right? It doubles up to everything.
So you
Yeah.
mean like people, like in this period, like people sending food to their friends, or little, like it's been quite kampong spirit for the people who actually cook. I've had like friends who cook send me like stuff that they've baked, stuff that they've cooked, or they tell me like come and pick up from my house like stuff that I cook. I'm very happy to like go over to someone's house and just pick up like a container of food. And I think, yeah, this is a really, really nice little habit that has emerged out of the circuit breaker. Interestingly, right? I don't think it was such a commonly done thing in Singapore, but I think definitely it's something that we should continue. I didn't know that's considered a positive psychology intervention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea, but yeah, I think it's definitely something that can continue. It doesn't have to be food. It can be like a nice card, or it can be just something small to let your friends know that you're thinking of them and that you kind of like saying hi and that I care about you.
I mean, we need a community to thrive, so let's do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
very much, everyone, for being on this call and on this podcast. Tomorrow, of course, is the first day of phase 2. I feel like I need to do a little dance. And like hi to all the extroverts who are also like,
Yay.
very excited about going out. Remember to drop us your comments, if there anything that you want us to cover as we go one step further into the new normal. And remember, like, to all your good habits, try to find ways to keep them. And let's all try to buy little things or send little gifts to our friends as a way to boost our happiness and boost theirs as well.
Yeah. Be your own positive habit today.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks,
Jade.
Stefan.
Thank you. See you soon.